First of all, I would like to introduce the panel. To my far right, we have Ms. Janelle Presentacion. She is the project manager. And to my immediate right, we have Mr. Lenworth Wilson. He is the president of Gifted Foundation, and myself, Sharon Kanagita, as project officer for this particular upcoming event. We started I Am King back in 2015 in collaboration with the Department of Youth Affairs. We here present, Janelle and myself, we are members of the Division of Education, all falling under the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports. The upcoming event, I Am King, was, as I said, started back in 2015 with a conference at the West End, where we had Mr. Rison from Trinidad, who gave a very inspiring speech to our male figures within community. And coming out of that, we decided to go further. It became an annual event, and this year, the project manager, Janelle Presentacion James, decided to take it even further. Instead of us talking to the men within society, we decided this year to hear from them. And the birth of the trilogy of events started, and it began on December 8th with the Youth Forum that was held at Bel Air Community Center, where we had all of the youth ages 15 to 20 from all of our local high schools on the Dutch side that attended this event. This event was, again, held in collaboration with the Gifted Foundation, and we had radio personalities of Verse, Super Kid, and Grams. They were the panel that was actually, I could say, the mature panel. Again, and they heard from the school children, the guys, the youth, and we took it from there. And coming out of the Youth Forum, we are now going into the public event, which is a public panel discussion, which is going to be very interactive. And Janelle is going to elaborate a bit more on that, along with Lenworth. And as I said, it is a trilogy of events from the Youth Forum and the public discussion, the public panel discussion that we are going to have. We will then go over into a stakeholders meeting.
Okay, so just to add a little more detail to what my colleague Sharon just explained about the trilogy of events, is that we really want to foster dialogue between our men and community. And this Saturday we'll have a panel discussion where we'll have two panels, one consisting of young men under the age of 24 years and one of older men, to foster that dialogue between them and discuss matters on manhood and the role of a man within society. And from there, we're going to go to the stakeholder session, as mentioned before, and we're going to, as a community, together discuss how we will continue to empower our males. So not just from a government initiative, but from a community initiative. So we're going to take it further. But Saturday promises to be a very interesting event, and we're really encouraging all men to come out and discuss issues, and not only men, but the general public, because we women can also learn a thing or two, hear from the men what their views are, especially when it comes to conflicting ideologies between maybe what men think they should be and what women think men should be. So we're really looking forward to that, and Lenworth can give a lot more information in terms of what will be discussed on Saturday, and from a male perspective.
So this Saturday at the Phillipsburg Cultural and Community Center, 7 p.m., we want to see as much men as possible from our community come out to lead a discussion on the topic man-to-man, straight talk, and no-holds-barred conversation on manhood. And the reason for this conversation is that we're not where we're supposed to be as men in our community. The role of the man has been broken down, and there's so much more that we need from our men than we're getting. And not just men as in the older generation, but even the younger generation coming up as young men, and what society expects versus what is our reality. There's a big disconnect, and so we're trying to just come together, have that conversation to find out where that disconnect took place, and what is the difference between the culture of the older generation of men and the younger generation of men. and not just the differences in culture, but what are the things that are affecting us now as men and as a society that are as a result of things that we didn't do well before. So in our conversations in the youth forum in December, some of the young men pointed to the fact that they don't have good examples from the older generation. And if any of you have sat in a barber shop or at a car wash waiting for your car and had a conversation with somebody from the older generation, you'd hear the ideas of how they view this younger generation. I've had people tell me that the young people disrespect their community because they spray paint the different gang signs all over and the graffiti is there. And the younger generation is saying that you're not listening to us, so we're writing it on the wall for you so that we could still have a voice. So if we can constructively put together this younger generation and older generation to have serious conversations that are geared towards moving men forward into their roles in the society, then I think that's a step in the right direction. So that's what Saturday night is about. Having man-to-man straight talk, a direct dialogue, no holds barred conversation. We're talking about the man's role. We're talking about relationship and how we interact with the opposite sex, how we treat the women and the children in our society. Talking about the finances. How does finances determine the man performing in his role? We're talking about sex. Of course, we can't talk about man and not talk about sex because there is research that shows that men think about sex almost every minute. The percentage of time that men think about sex, it shows that it's a high value for them. And that difference between how men value it versus how women value it, or how much it is put across on our next generation of men, it is something that needs to be discussed so that we don't end up in a situation where it is being mishandled and women are being objectified, or it loses its actual value. So we're talking about all these different topics and so much more, but primarily what we want to do is to hear from the men. How do you feel about this thing? How do you see government and other institutions playing a role in the advancement of men in our community, the profile of men, how women view men, how men view themselves, how the next generation of sons and daughters are viewing the men in our community. Yeah. So if you want to be a part of that conversation, if you have something to add, whether it's an agreeing view or a disagreeing view, if you think you have something to add to this conversation to move us forward as men, then we invite you to come out Saturday night. It's at 7 p.m. at the Phillipsburg Cultural and Community Center, right there on Back Street. You don't want to miss it. As I said, it's open to the general public, so you could bring the family. We would advise, from teenage boys, 15 and up, you could come out and be a part of this conversation. Yeah, men, bring your sons. Make sure that they're having this conversation so that they know what is expected of them as well coming up in our society. So hope to see you there Saturday night. That's this Saturday, the 28th of January, at the Phillipsburg Cultural Center.
Yes, it's the first Calypso 10 taking place on February 21st, 2017 at the Carnival Village in Gallows Bay, Marigot. Come out and hear 10 Calypsonians performing for you. King Bobo, Ricky the Fox, Lady Righteous, Ebony Empress, Shira, Baker Jr., Dr. Ray, Pepper, Chipman, and the reigning Calypso monarch, Shakia. It all takes place at the Carnival Village in Gallows Bay, Marigot, starting at 8 p.m. The entrance fee is only $10 or €10. Come out and support your local Calypsonians in the first Calypso 10. It takes place on February 21st, 2017. You better be there because I thought you'd be mistaken me.
Let me know.
I going.
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 I going. I going. I going.
I going.
I going.
I going. With the bike.
Ik ga.
Are you going? April 28th, Carnival Village.
Life is a journey full of connections. You're in safe hands even when life starts too soon. You don't have to miss a single beat. When a bad hair day makes you sad, just sharing can bring you joy and more to come. They take the plunge, turn fear into faith, while you capture those beautiful moments. In the game of life, it's family that counts. They'll be there even when you lose. We all have our moments of reflection and hope. And when you feel you're losing everything in life, we're there because there's more to come. When life starts too soon, you don't have to miss a single beat. We're here to connect you and share life. Telcel, when you want more.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas really easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
We have had a system in the past where, especially as far as the airport is concerned and the harbor is concerned, that they charge, going back for years with the permission of government, a departure fee. And that departure fee is justified by them and saying, well, they've got facilities and people use those facilities and people should pay for those facilities. In that connection, what started with approximately a $5 departure fee at the airport today has mushroomed to $36 per person departure fee. If you think about the fact that 800,000 approximately passengers leave the island annually and multiply that by $36, you could then imagine the astronomical amounts that are generated by these companies only based on a regulation, not based on efforts to produce profits, and through that also comes inefficiencies in the company. And when I look throughout the region, I can't find one country that does not charge a departure tax that goes in the coffers of government. It is the reason why government always lives hands to mouth, because what government should be receiving in income, it is not receiving. It is going primarily to build up the harbor year after year and to build up the airport year after year. But I think the time has come that be changed. That be changed because it is affecting government's operation. The services that government have to render, it's unable to render. It has to cut, postpone, whilst in the meantime, actual monies that government should be receiving is being retained by these two companies. A departure tax of 10 guilders or 12 guilders, the amount hasn't been established yet. It's the beginning of the stage we are at in dealing with this problem, is a small amount compared to what many other countries charge. Our position is going to be a 10 or 12 guilders departure tax we have to receive for anyone leaving the island, just like any other country. Why should we be different? The argument has come up, well, no, we can't do that because we already charge a departure fee and we can't put 10 guilders on top of that. I says, fine. That's for them to decide in terms of the business they're operating. But in actual fact, they have over 10 guilders or 12 guilders, which they charge. So they're just going to have to either pay it themselves or seek means to be able to generate this 10 or 12 guilders or deduct it from what they're already receiving, which should have been in government hands. Again, this is a process that we've started now, and this is the idea. If we succeed in this path, it's going to require also a law passed by Parliament, so it has to go through the pipeline. But theoretically, if you think about 10 or 12 guilders times 800,000 passengers at the airport, that already would produce approximately 9 million guilders in additional revenue for the government. At the harbor, the same thing. But there you're dealing with 1.7 million in cruise ship passengers. They presently charge approximately $7 per tourist. And I say, yes, they have facilities, and if they use it, they can charge for those facilities. But the government have 10 times more the facilities they have, the roads, the infrastructure in general. So if they have a right to charge that amount, the government have the same right. I think this was a mistake made years ago, and the time has come that we correct it to get back to a normal situation, just as the case is in any other country. One final point. In today's newspaper, today, you will see a blaring headline that states SHTA severely criticizes functioning of Parliament. When you read the article, it really relates to the annual accounts that for many years have been piling up and not being processed the way the law dictates. Annual accounts have been pending since 2012. We came in November 2015, and all of the annual accounts of government have been completed, have been submitted, and are in the pipeline, including the annual account for 2015 that's presently at YZ and Way to go into the pipeline. So in that connection, we've done the work which have not been done for many years in making sure those annual accounts, which is something that you need to be able to refer to and to determine what your financial situation is annually.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles, from within your reach.
Yes, it's the first Calypso 10 taking place on February 21st, 2017 at the Carnival Village in Dallas Bay, Marigot. Come out and hear 10 Calypsonians performing for you. King Bobo, Ricky the Fox, Lady Righteous, Ebony Empress, Shira, Baker Jr., Dr. Ray, Pepper, Chipman, and the reigning Calypso monarch, Shakia. It all takes place at the Carnival Village in Dallas Bay, Marigot, starting at 8 p.m. The entrance fee is only $10 or €10. Come out and support your local Calypsonians in the first Calypso 10. It takes place on February 21st, 2017. You better be there because I thought you'd be sticking me out.
Let me know.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
I going.
I going.
I going.
I going.
I going. I going.
I going. I going. I going. I going.
I going.
I going. I going.
With the right.
Ik ga.
Are you going? Friday, April 28th, Carnival Village.
In my opinion, everything is perfect and you would be great for the job. But I see here that there's a 2-year gap in your resume. What did you do?
I was hospitalized for mental illness.
Oh, mental illness?
I've undergone treatment and I have a wonderful family that supports me.
Well, that is good news.
No, it's fine. I'm recovered.
We'll contact you, okay?
For a better understanding of mental health and what you can do to stop mental health stigma, please go to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
I'd also like to remind the general public, and especially our men, about our conference, or actually man-to-man straight talk, a no-holds-barred conversation, which will be scheduled for this Saturday, January 28th, 2017, from 7 to 9 at the Phillipsburg Cultural Center. The entrance is free. Once again, 2 themes, Manhood 101 and the Role of the Man. I believe it is a great effort of the Youth Department in collaboration with the Innovations team, the Project Management team, to collaborate also with our organizations in the community to host such an event to empower our young men as part of a trilogy of events. One was already held, which was a very well-attended panel discussion with all youth from the various schools. The Bel Air Community Center was filled to capacity with young men airing their views and bringing their views to the table. And this second event will also be, I believe, a very riveting one for the community. So I look forward to that. There are also 6 more days left until the iStep logo competition deadline, which is on the 31st. So the general public or the students of the primary and secondary schools are reminded to submit their entries before that date. As a ministry, we are currently very occupied with the synchronization of the vision of this government with the year plans of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports. And this is happening across the board. But I must say we did start the process a bit earlier, having collaborations and meetings with management. Management, of course, has submitted their draft year plans, which are under revision. And hopefully within the next 2 weeks, we can finalize these plans so that as a ministry, we can move forward in achieving our vision in moving education, culture, youth, and sports forward.
Because I remember when we had the groundbreaking, it was mentioned right away that the asbestos removal would have started already. So is it only going to start after the town hall meeting is completed, or was it, can you just give us a more outline?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Dick. I believe that what I was trying to explain was that the advice for the removal hadn't been finalized as yet, which I was unaware of at the time when we would have that glitch and that hold up. Of course, then the whole thing became that consultations and information had to be shared. The company had to come in, and so they are here now. It's scheduled to start. They had already one town hall meeting before. They had an update last week with the St. Peter's Community Council, and then they scheduled the meeting for tomorrow as well to update the community on what will be taking place specifically. The actual removal, I believe, as I was updated, will take about a week, and thereafter then the demolition can start.
Okay, and also the vocational training school. Remember the last thing was also that a new contractor was hired. Any update as to when the classrooms will be finished?
The process by which, I don't think you are any more impatient than I am on these types of things. It's been a year now for me since I've had this as a top priority, and the advice to finally remove the old contractors was done in December at some point during a Council of Ministers meeting, and with that same advice, it was also retendered. So that will be completely, the companies that we had, excuse me, the other companies that had bid were presented bids that were above what the money that we have budgeted to finalize the project. So therefore we had to retender the entire project.